It is the 41st millennium. Mankind battles for survival across the universe, besieged on all fronts by the heretic, the mutant, and the alien. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. One faction of Space Marines stands amidst the chaos, the mightiest of the Emperor's warriors, and a beacon of light in the darkness. This legion, the 9th Legion of Adeptus Astartes, the Blood Angels. Hello. Tell me, can you hear me okay? Obviously everything has to have been reinstalled on this computer. I haven't quite figured out the countdown timer, in that it's kind of obnoxious and over my head. Let me get rid of that. And I'm trying to figure out my microphone. I think I got the microphone figured out. Hello. Can you hear me? Sounds clear? Okay, if anything is different, if there's any problems with the stream, then please somebody shout in chat, because I still have a couple of devices in my computer that are appearing as unknown devices. So I need to probably need to do that right after the stream to see if we can get rid of them. See if there's a few drivers I still haven't managed to reinstall. Hello everybody, good evening. Welcome. We got 5 lists we're going to look at tonight. Probably be live for an hour. Every Sunday night we would be live for an hour. If your list has not been reviewed, obviously there was no show last week because I didn't have a computer last week. If you submit your list, let's say within the last 2 weeks, and it's not in tonight's episode, then please can you resubmit it, because all my files, everything has been messed up from basically my hard drive dying. So if there's a list you're desperate to get reviewed, I need to actually figure out how to stop these pop-ups. Turn off all notifications for mail. There we go. If there's a list you're waiting to be reviewed, please resubmit it so that I don't miss it and you're thinking John hates me or John ignores me. The picture quality is poor. Is it just me? Anyone got poor picture quality? I have organised all my backups. I have 5 backups now, Mike. So I've got like everything that was on this computer on an external hard drive. I've got it on my wife's PC. I've got a key stick that's plugged into the TV downstairs just so there's another copy of it. And I've got a copy of it in Google Drive. So I think that means I've got 5 backups now. 2 people are saying the picture's fuzzy. Great. Okay, I mean if it is fuzzy, I'm not sure I can increase my bitrate while I'm live. I know what that might be. So I guess you'll just have to deal with the fuzzy bitrate right now, or a fuzzy stream right now. Maybe I can change the bitrate while I'm live. Let me try and put it up by 1,000. Oh, I can change it while I'm live. Okay, I mean I can make the video higher bitrate, which basically means I stream out more data, which should theoretically, 1 second, what bitrate do you need for 1080p? I put 4,500, which should have been fine. I've just increased it to 6,500. The bar still looks green on my end, so maybe my bitrate is higher than 6,000 now. So I actually don't know how good my internet is, but my internet is pretty good, right? Like I was going to say, I don't know if I've done a speed test. I was going to say, there's not much going on in my house at the moment, so we're only getting like 50 down. That load's more important though, right? Good evening, Jim. Peter said it just sharpened up. Okay, cool. Alright, so I think that might help it. But there might still be some teething problems I'm going through. Anyway, okay, let's get into the first list for tonight. And this list was submitted by Shane Bell. And it is 13 days ago because, like I said, there was no army list show last week. I didn't even have a PC last week. Okay, so we've got a chaplain with a jump pack with the Death Company. Cozies and Power Fist. I actually kind of like doing this myself. just because it gives him 2 really strong melee options. Lieutenant with 6 Blade Guard, all inside the Land Raider. He has Visage of Death on the Blade Guard. I think the Judiciar is much better choice in this. I was talking about this on my live stream yesterday. The Judiciar is 70 points. So you would actually save some points. I think Visage of Death is kind of wasted. It halves the OC of infantry models. Or monsters, or... Sorry, not monsters or vehicles. So infantry, beasts, swarms. But I honestly think the Judiciar with the Blade Guard just makes the Blade Guard so much more sticky in terms of, like, they survive so much better because people can't really charge them without risking losses. And I got, like I said, I got charged by 6 Terminators this week, and I killed 3 Terminators straight away with my fight first because of the Judiciar. That's huge. I get coming out of Land Raider is good. A Lieutenant fall back and charge is good. I mean, Blood Angels can pay 1 CP to fall back and charge. That's like half the bonus of a Lieutenant, right? The other bonus is lethal hits. Is lethal hits better than fight first? I don't think so. But I mean, I guess you can decide that yourself. I got 2 6-man Blade Guard in this list. Interesting. I did think you could put 2 6-man Blade Guard inside a Redeemer with 2 Judiciars. I thought that'd be really cool. I don't think we've seen many people actually run the 12th Blade Guard, but I think it probably is pretty strong. You've got the Death Company Dreadnought, you've got Death Company Marines with jump backs, you've got a double Gladiator Lancer, you've got a squad of Infiltrators for the backfield, you've got that Redeemer, and then you've got 2 Vindicator tanks. I've felt Vindicators are a lot stronger in Gladius than they are in Sons of Sanguinius. Maybe if you're reserving the Vindicators, that's okay. I think they're much, much harder to get into range and get some shooting off than they are in Gladius, because Gladius you can either just in turn 1 just move, and then turn 2 advance and shoot, or turn 1 advance and shoot, and I think that advance and shoot makes a big difference from the... Zacharias sent me a list on Patreon. Okay, Zacharias, I don't have you on the list for tonight. Thank you, though, for letting me know. Let me just see if I can pull it off Patreon real quick, and we'll add you. Messages. Right. Cool. Alright, let's add this. Alright, so we got 6 lists to do tonight. That's fine. Okay, hopefully we didn't miss anyone else. If we did miss anyone else, you're going to have to resubmit it for next week, because that's about my limit for tonight. So 10 Death Company with a Chaplain. I think if you're running the 10 Death Company, you really want Lamartes. So I think I would change that. I also think you need I think the Judiciar, in my opinion, because I was thinking about trying to Captain, I was thinking about trying to Lieutenant. I think the Judiciar is just much safer on the Blade Guard. It makes the Blade Guard much more difficult to charge. They're coming out of Land Raider, they're probably going to get center board. It's really scary for the opponents to charge them. I think that's probably the right way to run the Blade Guard, personally, if you're going to run the 6. Death Company Dreadnought can be good in reserve. Double Lancer can be good. It's not my preferred choice, Double Lancer, but if you're coming up against an opponent without invulnerable saves, Lancers are brilliant. If you're coming up against an opponent with invulnerable saves, I don't overly like Lancers, because it's like only a couple of shots and a couple of invulnerable saves can pretty much neuter their damage. So you're just got to be aware of that. Lancer's weakness is invulnerable saves, I guess. Double Vindicator is good. So you've got basically... You have so much shooting in this list, it almost feels like this could be a little bit better than in Gladius. You don't have that many units that are going to get the bonus of Blood Angels, right? 2 Lancers, 2 Vindicators. That's 700 points, give or take. Yeah, 700 on the nose, plus a Redeemer. Okay, so maybe 960, I guess. So you're getting about half. Well, Infiltrators, I guess, aren't really a combat unit. So you're probably getting about 800 points worth of Sons of Sanguinius. There's an argument that this list might be just better in Gladius. I I think you probably need to go a bit over 800. If you want to make Sons of Sanguinius work, I think you probably want to be aiming more for like 11 or 1200 points of close combat units or units that will benefit from the Sons of Sanguinius bonuses. Overall, though, I think it's fine. I really do think you want Lamartas in the 10-man Death Company because they really don't survive. If you didn't watch my video, Shane, on the survivability of, I guess it was just general units last week or 2 weeks ago, I made a video on survivability. The thumbnail looks something like Most Durable Infantry was the name of the video. Watch that video because it shows you how good Death Company with -1 to their -1 to their damage from Lamartas is. Without it, they die pretty darn fast. I wouldn't feel comfortable running a 10-man Death Company without Lamartas. I run a 5 with a chaplain. I think that's fine, but I don't feel comfortable about running a 10 without Lamartas, I think. Okay, we're going to jump into Mike's list second. He's a bit late posting it. It's a fluffy but competitive list. He feels like Tycho would be proud of 10th edition with his love of Land Raiders, and thus comes 3 Land Raiders. Okay, so you've got a captain and a Sanguinary Priest with Assault Intercessors. You've got a Jump Chaplain with a Jump Death Company. This is a Sons of Sanguinius list. Okay, so we've got the captain with a Power Fist and Plasma Pistol. I think this is and a Sanguinary Priest. I was going to say, I think this is this isn't a Jump Captain, is it? Artisan of War. 100 points. I actually don't know what this captain is. 100. A Jump Captain doesn't cost. A captain on foot doesn't cost 100 points, even with It's a Jump Captain. Okay, 85 points plus Artisan of War. I thought Artisan of War was 10 points. I guess it's maybe 15. Oh, it's 20. Okay, so this is a captain on foot. So we've got, a captain on foot with Artisan of War. You've got Sanguinary Priest on foot. And then you've got a chaplain with a jump pack. So you've got 10 Assault Intercessors for 150 points. And I guess they are with this priest and captain. Cool, okay. You've got Assault Intercessors, the jump packs. I guess the captain plus the Sanguinary Priest plus the 10 Assault Intercessors are on one of the Land Raiders. You've got Assault Intercessors with jump packs. You've got 3 Centurions, again, probably inside a Land Raider. You've got 10 Death Company Marines with Plasma Pistols and Power Fists. This is Firstborn on foot Death Company because they would be 260 points if they had jump packs. You've got 5 Death Company with jump packs. You've got 3 Plasma Inceptors. You've got a squad of Scouts. You've got another squad of Scouts. And then for vehicles, you got 2 regular Land Raiders and a Land Raider Redeemer. Feels like that might be a tiny push towards too many Land Raiders. Can you field 3 Land Raiders and be competitive? I guess is a good question. Morning, Hadley. Hello, Mike. What do we think of Mephiston with Assault Intercessors? I don't think he's going to necessarily be worth the points because I ran Assault Intercessors, and while they are somewhat decent now when they charge, if they are getting charged, Peter, they're not very good. Because the second they are charged, then they're back down to just Strength 4. And Strength 4 is pretty bad in the current meta, I guess. So even if you got charged in your fight first, so you had like 40 attacks, hitting on 3s, 26 hits, you're then only wounding on 4s. Maybe you got some rerolls from their wound stuff, but I think Blade Guard are just a much better choice. So, like, I think it was 2 weeks ago I ran, or maybe it was 3 weeks ago, I ran 10 Assault Intercessors with a Sanguinary Priest, and I feel like just a 6 Blade Guard with a Judiciar are basically not many more points. Like, I want to say they're like, I think 6 Blade Guard plus a Judiciar is 250. 10 Assault Intercessors plus a Priest. I ran the Priest. I guess if you run Mephiston, it'd be a bit more. But the Priest is like 230. And they just, I don't know if they do enough damage. Hello, Muffin. Thank you. Is Captain Carlian good? I mean, his model is cool, but he doesn't exist in the lore anymore, Muffin. he hasn't had a named model for a while. If you can pick him up, he's a cool model to have. But like he doesn't actually have a like there isn't a data sheet for Captain Carlian. You'd just be using the data sheet for a regular Terminator Captain. Okay, so we've got 3 Land Raiders, we've got a couple of scouts for objectives and stuff. We've got 1 squad of interceptors. I guess we've got 10 Death Company in 1 Land Raider, we got Centurions in the other, we got 10 Assault Intercessors in the other. We then have 5 Assault Intercessors and jump packs that can jump around the board. We also have 5 Death Company with jump packs that can jump around the board. And then we have the characters inside. I guess I don't hate it, Mike. I guess 3 Land Raiders, if the opponent aren't really set up to deal with Land Raiders, then, or toughness 12, 2-up save vehicles, you'll probably have a pretty good game because the Land Raiders will consistently kill stuff every turn. They have good damage output. They are very survivable. You'll also have scouts and inceptors to do actions. A lot of foot slogging guys. Like the only guys that you've got that are not foot slogging are 5 Assault Intercessors, which don't overly do much damage in my experience, and 5 Death Company with jump packs, which will do damage, but these guys are so much better if the chaplain is attached to them. I'd almost be... Yeah, I mean, because everything else, once they come out of the transports, they're pretty slow. I feel like there's a fine line when you play Blood Angels. Like, you need a good number of jump models. Like, 2 squads that will kill stuff. So, like, in my list, I have 10 Death Company with Lamartes and 5 Death Company with a Chaplain. And I'll probably be more aggressive with the 10 with Lamartes because I'll take some casualties, but even if I lose half the squad, that squad will still have quite a bit of killing power, right? Like, Lamartes plus 5 is still a decent amount for killing power. Whereas, like, and you're going to lose some models, right? So you're only 2 jumps or 5, and realistically, what usually happens with a 5 is the whole 5 will get when they get targeted, be it a close combat charge or something, they get killed. And when you're foot slogging, you know you're slow. You don't have anything to advance and charge. That's one of the reasons that Gladius kind of... You could almost argue this list would be better in Gladius as well, because all those units on foot could actually advance and charge. I hope in the future Blood Angels get a stratagem that lets this advance and charge. A Thunderhammer and Stormbolter isn't a valid loadout anymore? Are you sure, Mike? I'm pretty sure Thunderhammer and Stormbolter is a valid loadout on a Terminator Captain, because the Captain that came with the Leviathan box, like, he got his individual model now, and he can have a Thunderhammer, right? You can't have a Stormbolter? Are you sure? Where the frig is Terminator Captain? Why can't I see it? Captain in Terminator armor. I thought you could definitely have. This model's Stormbolter can be replaced with a combi weapon. This model's relic weapon can be replaced with a relic fist. Okay, so you would be playing Captain Carlian's model with the relic fist, essentially. I
have awoken.
Jason says I'm going to submit my Red Wave SOS list for review, 30 jump packs and 25 assault intercessors. Wow, okay. That might be going too far the other way, Jason. So, this list by Mike, I feel like 3 Land Raiders... I could probably get on board with 3 Land Raiders, but I think I would probably put jump. Like, I'd probably put, like, a Chaplain plus 5 jump Death Company in one of the Land Raiders. Because that just keeps those guys super safe, lets you get them exactly where you need to. I'm not a big fan of the Assault Intercessors and jump packs. I haven't had great results with them in 5s. And I guess by taking 3 Land Raiders, you really limit what you can do. Here's the one thing, right? Paying 100 points to add a captain to your Assault Intercessors. I don't know if I feel that's worth it. What does a captain actually give you? He gives you, or what buff does he give them? Well, he doesn't really give them a buff, right? Like, you just have to pay one, you just get one free CP. So you can use a stratagem, so you can get, like, Red Rampage on them for free. Is that worth 100 points? Like, to me, probably what I would do would be, I would add a chaplain with a jump pack, put him with that other death company, then that death company have +1 to wound all the time. They've suddenly become very killy. This other death company have +1 to wound all the time, so they are killy. The Centurions are already like strength 12, so they don't need any buffs. They can't get buffs anyway. But this captain, for his 100 points... Well, at that point, if both your death companies have +1 to wound, then you just spend the 1 CP on your assault intercessors. You're just regular assault intercessors. I feel like that in a situation where you maybe don't need the assault intercessors stratagem, then you just save it. But that's one of the things I love about Death Company with chaplains and or Lamarta is because you basically get the buffs without having to pay. He gives you strength 7 chainswords. Is there that much difference between strength 6 and strength 7 on the chainswords? I mean, you're not really going to be targeting toughness 12 vehicles with chainswords, are you? So in the case of you hitting toughness 12, then I guess your wound rolls could move from 6s to 5s. Or in the case of you hitting toughness 6 over toughness 5, there's a lot of toughness 6 stuff that you need to be killing over toughness 5. I don't necessarily think there's a big difference between 6 and 7. You know, I suppose it was the same as like when Blood Angels had +1 strength and we were going from strength 8 to 9, it felt like there was no difference between 8 and 9. 6 to 7 feels like it's, at least in the meta that I play in, I can't think of any enemies that have a lot of stuff that's T6. Maybe Death Guard Terminators are T6. Maybe that's like the one thing. But I can't think of anything else in my meta that's actually T6. Death Blightlord Terminators, are they T6? Yeah, okay. So I guess it helps you against Death Guard. What else does it really help you? Like, is that captain really worth it? Is that better than having those Death Company with their Strength 10 Power Fists having +1 to wound all the time for free? I don't think it is. Custodes, I guess, have something. Gravis are T6. I guess I don't really actually play against many people that have Gravis. Well, if you think it's worth it, keep the captain, I guess. My opinion is I would lose that captain. I don't think he gives you enough for what a chaplain could give that 5-man Death Company with jump packs. I think I would much prefer that. Because I've used that squad a bunch, and I've used the Assault Intercessors. And Assault Intercessors, for me, are usually going after, like, chaff-type units, because they're only AP1, right? I guess they're AP2 with the Priest. But if you're going after, like, Eldar or something, or a Guardsman's or something like that, Strength 6 is already good, right? Strength 6 is already wounding on 2s. I guess if you're gonna try and kill the Custodes with chainswords, sure. I guess the captain helps you. But then the flip side of that coin would be, if the Custode's toughness is normally 6, then your Death Company with Power Fists are wounding them on 3s. What's going to be better? Having all your chainswords wound them on 3s rather than 4s, or have all your Power Fists wound them on 2s rather than 3s. I think, for me, I would rather have the Power Fists wounding on 2s than 3s, because the Power Fists have basically double the damage, right? So that's the sort of the way I play my list at the moment, where both my Death Companies have chaplains leading them, so that the Death Companies are doing the maximum damage that they can do, because I rely pretty heavily on my Death Company to do... the Captain on Foot doesn't give +1 strength. Neither he does, actually. Yeah, you're right. The Captain on Foot does not give +1 strength. He just gives you the free stratagem and the 3 extra attacks with devastating wounds once per game. So, I mean, maybe that fact alone maybe just clears the argument that the Chaplain is a better choice. I think I would prefer the Chaplain. I don't think there's much else wrong with that list, Mike. 3 Land Raiders definitely feels like you're kind of backed into a corner and you need to really make those Land Raiders work. It's a pity you didn't have Tycho, though, right? Canopec Wraiths are also T6. I actually still haven't fought Necrons yet in 10th. I guess I'm lucky, Jeff, because from what I'm hearing is Necrons are bullshit overpowered, so but yeah, even if the enemy is running T6, I think I'd rather my Thunderhammers wound on 2s with no CP cost than Chainsword wound on 3s, and it's kind of a moot point because I guess that captain doesn't actually give them strength, but okay. I found that the Strength 10 Power Fists have been so much better, especially when you start playing Red Rampage with them. Like they just go back to what it was like the old days, where it was like, all right, here's like 40 Power Fists coming in, and I wound on 2s, and I'm re-rolling all hits. I think if you're running 10 Death Company with jump, or if you're not running Lamartas and 10 Death Company with jump packs now, I think that's probably like a... Are they good enough to be an auto include? I think it's very close. Like, they are by far our best unit, I feel like. Okay, Brewing Biscuits. He's trying to finalise in friendlies before he goes to his next local GT. Alright, let's look at the list. He's got Lamartas plus the 10 Death Company. He's got Astrath plus 10 Death Company. Not many people use Astrath. Once per game you get Devastating Wounds. And I actually don't remember. Oh, you got Fight on Death on a 4-up or something. Okay. He only gets 4 attacks now. Strength 8 on the charge, minus 3/2 damage. So he's got some decent AP, but he's got a crappy number of attacks. T4, 5 wounds. Okay. You then have 5 Death Company with just Thunderhammers. That's fine. I'd honestly just use Power Fist and Infernal Pistols. Just proxy them if you don't have them. Nobody cares anymore. You've got 12 Inceptors. That's a lot. Holy crap. I'd probably always err on the side of Plasma first. Maybe Bolter. But the thing about, I took Bolter Inceptors to GT and then you played up against Knights and I was like, oh great, my Bolter Inceptors are literally going to wound these Knights on 6s, so they're literally going to do no damage for this entire battle. I mean, I guess that's fine. They try to be a scoring unit. But I think Plasma Inceptors is probably the right way to go. You got 3 squads of Scouts, Shotgun Sniper, and Missile Launcher. That's standard. You know you can get a free Chainsword in these squads of Scouts as well. Brew, because the Sergeant can have a shotgun and a melee weapon. I'm convinced it's a Chainsword. There's nothing better than a Chainsword. I think it is just the Sergeant can have a shotgun and a Chainsword. The Sergeant shotgun can be bolt gun can be replaced with a Chainsword. Any number of their bolt gun replaced with a shotgun for every 5 models. Oh yeah, so the Sergeant doesn't have a shotgun. Okay, so what does the Sergeant have? He can have a Chainsword and a bolt pistol. I mean, I might just do that. I don't know if their shotguns are going to do any damage. They're strength 4, they're no AP, right? At least when you charge, your Scout Sergeant would get 5 attacks at strength 6 minus 1. Sounds a lot... Yeah, I'd probably drop the shotgun on the Sergeant and take the Chainsword. Gives them a tiny little bit of melee potential. Yeah, nobody runs Astaroth. I mean, Astaroth used to have the most attacks out of all of our characters, I believe, and they just... What with Mantra of Strength and stuff, they just neutered him so badly. Sorry, we got double Ball Predator. We've got a Vindicator tank. I'll most likely do tactical unless the opponent offers a good solid fixed choice to go with deploy homers. I think the list offers great board coverage, some heavy hit encounters, and doesn't give opponents much for secondary. Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got very little against for Bring It Down. I guess you do have 2 characters. My concern with this list is all the anti-armor needs to come from your Death Company. Because one Vindicator tank, I mean, with a hot roll in Oath of Moment, maybe a Vindicator tank can kill an opponent's tank, sure, in one turn. But then your opponent's just going to kill that Vindicator. So the Vindicator will trade one tank for itself at some point, and then you're going to be reliant on the Death Company to deal with anti-tank. And that can be quite hard, because the Death Company aren't that survivable. They're only toughness 4 Marines. They need to get across the whole battlefield and get to enemy tank emplacements. Especially, like, I played Imperial Guard like a month ago, and they had an obnoxious amount of really powerful anti-infantry artillery. I guess your Inceptors could deal with that somewhat, and I guess that would probably be the right play into that. But if the opponent's castled up and it's going to be hard for you to get to them with the Death Company, then you're going to take a lot of losses that way. And Inceptors are good at killing elites, not so good at killing armor or monsters. Ball Predators are good at killing infantry, again, not so good at killing monsters or vehicles. So the Death Company in this list are going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting, and that can be fine. And I mean, Blood Angels typically play like that, or have played like that in previous editions. I just think that's very hard to do right now. Okay, so Lamartus and Astaroth with 10 Death Company is the main melee threat. Holding back in deployment is screening until something is without charge range. Astaroth is chosen over Chaplain for dev wounds if it sends a vehicle, ascending into a vehicle, and 4+ fight on death. Death Company is with Thunder Hammers to float. Yeah, I think I would get rid of those Thunder Hammer. Just proxy them, man. No one cares. All Inceptors in Deep Strike. 6-man plasma for hitting elites and vehicles. 2x3 Inceptors for scoring and support. I think you're better off with Plasma Inceptors right now. Scouts are brilliant. Balls to push up and provide an Overwatch threat. The balls are all flamers, yes, double flamers. And Vindicator for the big fire support. You can reserve your Vindicator. If it's your only tank, it's probably going to be a good idea. If it's your only anti-vehicle tank, it's probably going to be the best thing you can do is to reserve it, yes. Plasma Inceptors aren't terrible into vehicles because they reroll with the wounds because they're twin-linked. Yeah, that's true. It's just they don't have very much rate of fire, right? It's only 6 plasma shots. If you're not Oath of Momenting, that means you're probably hitting 4 times. If you're trying to wound on 5s, even with rerolls, you're actually only making 2 wounds because 5s with rerolls from 4 dice is 55%. So the opponent needs to take 2 saves. I assume you're overcharging them, so they're -3 damage. Like if they've got invulnerable. So a 3-man squad of Plasma Inceptors will do 3 damage statistically to sort of like armor or monster with a 4-up invuln. So you'd have to drop all 12 of them to try and do 12 wounds to cripple something or do a lot of damage. Which in itself isn't the end of the world, right? Like if you drop down 12 Inceptors and you do 12 damage to like a Land Raider, that could be pretty significant, right? But a Land Raider's never going to kill 12 Inceptors in the return fire. It's just a case of like knowing how to use them. Like I said, I don't dislike any of the units you've picked. I just think you're going to have to rely really heavily on those jump Death Company doing work. And don't get me wrong, those Death Company will do work all game. Every game I play, I usually end up killing a lot of models with my Death Company. The thing is, it can be very difficult to get them where you need to be. Like, if you need to kill the enemy's backfield armor with Death Company, or with a melee unit, that can be very difficult at the moment. Is a regular chaplain something to consider at all at this point? I use a regular chaplain every week, Miguel. He's in my list. He's honestly one of the best characters that I've had. I played him to the GT I went to like 2 months ago. Love him. I could drop a scout unit and a ball for another Vindicator. I'd probably do that. Yeah, I'd do that 100%. I think double Vindicator is way more scary than a single one. I think I'd reserve both of them, bring them in on turn 2. If you bring them in close to each other so they can both see or shoot at the same target, blow your hunter-killer missiles the second they come in, oath a moment probably against the target as well, and just try your best to kill one. If the first one oath a moments and kills it, great, shoot another one. But double down on double Vindicator together, focusing fire, will pretty much delete one vehicle every turn. When you bring them into reserve, try and bring them in where it's difficult for your opponent to get line of sight back on them if possible. Because every time, like when I was playing that big group of aggressors, the 6 aggressors, with the captain and with the biologist, it's a big group, right? It's basically 8 Gravis Marines. They have a big template, but I was always trying to put them somewhere that was really obnoxious. So when I put them there with the librarian's teleport, when I kill a unit, he maybe only has like one unit that can actually see back, and it's hard for him to take out all my aggressors, or it's hard for him to do a lot of damage back to the aggressors. And I think the same thing goes for your double Vindicator. Like, bring them in really tactically, try and kill something. You only need to get like one kill if it means both of them survive for another turn, they move 9 inches and get another kill, you know? So yeah, I think I would do that. I'd just be aware that you might need to make another change. And I think this is probably one of the reasons that a lot of people are running like a Land Raider or 2 at the moment, just because a Land Raider gives you some really good anti-vehicle firepower at 48 inches. It gives you a lot of survivability. And yeah, they are expensive, but they are also very good, right? Okay, let's move on to Jack Knight. He is also running Sons of Sanguinius. He's got Lamartez, a Sanguinary Priest with a jump pack, Icon of the Angel, and the Sanguinar. I guess he's just got Icon of the Angel because he's got some points to spend. I don't really think any of the Blood Angels attachment enhancements are worth taking. Icon of the Angel is 10 points, and it stops enemies falling back, basically, as long as they are not monsters or vehicles. So it's very situational, because most of the time Blood Angels will kill infantry, so there'll be nothing to fall back. I think it's kind of a pointless 10 points. My next opponent I have a friendly against is Demons. He has a lot of big demons, so I'll do the Vindicator swap. Yeah, the great thing about Vindicators and stuff against big demons is they can sit 24 inches away and blow big demons away with the Demolisher Cannon every turn. Did you see that Vanguard Tactics Blood Angels list, and have you any thoughts? Sorry if it's been asked. I did not see. Was this a battle report this weekend, or what was it, Carl? Okay, we have a Centurion Assault Squad. We have a Death Company Dreadnought. We have 10 Death Company with jump packs. We have a Land Raider Redeemer. We have a Scout Squad, another Scout Squad, Vanguard Veterans with jump packs, 10 of them, and then we've got the double Vindicator in here and the Calidus Assassin. Okay, so this is quite a competitive list from Jack Knight. Player list are similar to the first one on the show. Tau player quit before turn 3, before he even got to bring in the Vanguard Veterans and Death Company from Deep Strike. I rarely sit on units till turn 3, but okay. It's here for review if you fancy it. Wanted to do a firstborn list. For the purpose of the critique, ignore that. Think Calidus and Death Company Dread mainly on the chopping block, or for a mix of scouts. Yeah, no, I haven't seen any Vanguard battle reps from this weekend, to be honest. Maybe I was watching one of their videos. I mentioned it yesterday. I was watching one of their videos last week, but not their battle rep. I'll have a look at it. I'm pretty happy with my Blood Angels list at the moment. It's won 3 games in a row. I've entered it in the Tabletop Tactics League, and I'm going to be playing in the league again on Wednesday night. And the cool thing about the league is once you have a winning list, you're not allowed to change your list till you lose. So I'm stuck with my double Predator Annihilator list. No, not Predator Annihilator, sorry, Predator Destructor list for a little while. So hopefully we're going to keep winning. Jason said it was a great game. Yeah, no, I'll check it out. I'll see if I get time tomorrow. Okay, and I've got another list to actually look over for next week's tactics video as well, because I've got like a really interesting tournament list to look at. So, okay. Double Scout, double Vindicator, Calidus Assassin is a good unit to have. She fits into tiny little holes. She survives. She's lone operative. She fight first. She actually kills tanks. I wouldn't have her in the chopping block. I've got her in my list. I think she's really good. Yeah, she's a bit pricey at 90 points, but she does things that nothing else can do, right? Like, she drops into a tiny little space as a one-man model and performs an action. Sometimes that can win you a game. Vanguard Veterans with jump packs attached to the Priest is an interesting choice, I guess. I don't run it personally. I did some maths on it and felt like it didn't do enough damage to validate having Vanguard Veterans over Death Company. Because Death Company obviously hit with more strength, and they have the same AP, but they do 2 damage, but they have 1 less attack, but they reroll the hits. So, yeah, I guess if you want a durable unit with Storm Shields, Vanguard Veterans could be a choice. But I prefer to play Blade Guard at the moment. I think I prefer them to Van Vets. Different type of unit, but I think Blade Guard will do what I need them to do, especially if you've got a Redeemer on the board. Blade Guard will get their... You know, the Redeemer will get the Blade Guard where they need to be. Centurions is great. They do a ton of damage. They survive pretty well. I like the Centurions. They're slow, but again, if you've got some sort of way of transporting them that's good. The Sanguiner is good. He's got that neat heroic intervention trick. I think a Death Company Dreadnought in reserve is really, really powerful as well. I don't think you want Blood Talons on it. I think you just want the Fists. I think the Fists are much better because they're still reroll all hits and reroll all wounds, and the Fists are much higher strength. So, I think the Blood Talons will be strength 10 on the charge. I think the Fists will be strength 14 on the charge. Let's just check that. Death Company Dreadnought. So the Fists will indeed be strength 14 on the charge. Blood Talons will be strength 10. So it's either 8 attacks at strength 10, minus 2, 3, or 6 attacks, strength 14, minus 3, 3. I think I prefer 6 at 14 with minus 3 over because it's twin linked. So, you know, if you come up against a really tough vehicle, like a T12 vehicle or something, you'd be wounding on 5s on your 8 attacks, whereas you'd be wounding on 3s with your 6 attacks. There's a 2 dice shift. That's a big shift. The Death Company Dreadnought isn't really going to be there to kill infantry. I mean, he can, but that's not really the main reason to have him there. I think he's much better into big foes like monsters and vehicles. So I think Blood Talons is the wrong choice here. I guess that's my I like Double Vindicator. I like the 10-man Death Company with Lamartez. I like a lot of this list. I think it's actually pretty good. Just personally, I think I don't really... I prefer Blade Guard over Van Vets. I think the Blade Guard do the same thing, but actually can kill stuff compared to Van Vets, maybe. But overall, I actually think this list is a pretty solid list. I think it's a good Sons of Sanguinius list. And obviously, Jack Knight's been winning some games, so I don't really have a ton of criticism on this list. There's not much I can say. You could go a lot worse than building this list. It's like one weapon choice here. One other thing you could do, I suppose, tiny optimization, is one of your Centurions could lose the bolters. It's like 4 or 5 bolter shots or something to get assault launchers. That gives you ability to shoot grenades out of the Centurions if you're desperate to do a couple of mortal wounds here before they charge. Again, probably worth losing like 4 strength 4 shots. I think the Centurion bolters might be like 3 shots rapid fire twin linked or something. So I'd probably be willing to give up 3 twin linked bolters or rapid fire, I guess, for the ability to shoot grenades. But overall, it's not a bad list. Alright, let's look at Thick CYG. I think that's like an Arsenal thing. Come on, you Gunners. Is that right? Chief Librarian Mephiston. Wow, we never see Meph. A captain with a Master of Crafted Power Weapon in the Relic Shield. We have a Chaplain with a Jump Pack. We have a Librarian Phobos. We have 10 Assault Intercessors. We have 5 heavy intercessors. Love these guys. They've finally made their way into my Blood Angels list. I'm running them at the moment. We've got the 6 Blade Guard. We've got 5 Death Company jump packs. We've got 5 Infiltrators. We've got Death Company Dreadnought. We've got double Land Raider. We got a Librarian Dreadnought and a Vindicator. The Librarian Dreadnought here is a weird one because I feel like the reason to take the Librarian Dreadnought is to teleport a shooting unit about and do shooting stuff. And you have none of that here. Got a list that seemed to punch very hard. 6 Blade Guard and a Captain going one Land Raider, Mephisto and the boys in the other. I mean, the fact that you just said that as well means that the only unit you're not going to have your Infiltrators, well, you're not going to be teleporting them around. Paying 170 points to teleport a squad of heavy intercessors around because they're the only unit that's not there. I'd just lose the Librarian Dreadnought and bring like a second squad of heavy intercessors, you know, like or in this case, because you only have 5 Death Company with jump packs, I'd probably start looking at the Librarian Dreadnought. Yeah, do you know what? If you drop the Librarian Dreadnought here, you add 130 points here, that gives you the 10 Death Company. You add 40 points to this Chaplain here, that gives you Lamartes. So there's your... That's how you make this list better. You lose the Librarian Dreadnought, add Lamartes, lose this Chaplain, add 5 more Death Company with jump packs. Because you already said Mephisto with Assault Intercessors and the Blade Guard and the Captain or the Land Raider. Also said earlier in the stream, I think Judiciar is a much better choice than a Captain with Blade Guard. Heavy Intercessors hold 1 objective, the Infiltrators and the Librarian Dreadnought and Vindicator hold the backfield, and Infiltrators need teleporting for a turn 4 or 5 secondary. Yeah, okay, so I guess your weakness here is you don't have any scouts or anything that can move stuff around. By having double Land Raider and a Vindicator and a Death Company Dreadnought and Infiltrators and Heavy Intercessors, yeah, you're struggling in terms of having some points to fit in a squad of scouts. But you do have a Librarian and Phobos Armor. Yes, that makes the Infiltrators untargetable, but I think I'd probably just lose Librarian and Phobos Armor and add the squad of scouts. Like, Infiltrators can sit in cover, they can be obscured, they get 6 up, feel no pain. Yeah, suppose if the opponent starts raining death on them on artillery, which isn't going to happen that often, maybe if the opponent has a lot of artillery, the right play would be to hold your heavy intercessors on your home field objective, right? Because they're pretty resilient to artillery because they're sitting on a 2-up save and they would be ignoring 1 AP as well, and they would be T6. So I'd sit the heavy intercessors in my home field and I'd use the infiltrators to push forward. So I don't think you want a Librarian Dreadnought when you're only teleporting like 1 or 2 things for actions. At that point you could honestly take 3 squads of scouts just about. And 3 squads of scouts is going to be much more reliable and score you more points and do more damage and stuff than a Librarian Dreadnought who will fail the teleport at a critical moment. And don't I know that just well, because he failed the teleport in the critical moment where I would have finished 3rd at a GT. So it friggin' happens in the most critical moments at the end of the game when you need to score points. He fails the teleport. So and there's no way to re-roll that. It's a failed sidekick, you're just stuck with it. So I think I would make that change. I'd make the Judiciar change, I'd make the Death Company change. I think this list with those changes would be super strong where it is right now. Maybe it's like a 7 for me. Having played a list like this at a GT with only 5 Death Company Marines with a Chaplain, I honestly came out of the GT thinking if I'd had a second squad of 5 Death Company with a Chaplain, that tournament would have been much better for me. Yeah, Sean, you're right. That poor Librarian, he's forever of all the 2-up fails that I have ever had with him, that would have been the most critical, huh? So forever he's going to be like marred in my brain, I guess. What are your thoughts on 10 Claw Terminators led by a Librarian? I don't like the Claw Terminators. I don't think they do enough damage. Their AP's kind of average. I think I actually did a video on Claw a few weeks ago. There was a video, Deadliest Infantry in a Land Raider, this video here. And you know, like if we skip forward to squads or something, I did try Terminator's Lightning Claws, 30 times Strength 7 minus 2/1 damage for 190 points. And then a little bit later in this video, you'll actually see the Terminator's damage. So Terminators with Lightning Claws get outperformed by Assault Centurions, they get outperformed by Death Company Intercessors. Jesus, okay, Death Company Intercessors with a Chaplain. They almost get outperformed 2-1 by Blade Guard. And even Assault Intercessors with a Sanguinary Priest Terminators with Lightning Claws are like, they're survivable, but that's all they've got going for them. They're not a good unit. It's a pity because Lightning Claws and Terminators are so iconic, but they're in such a bad place right now. Okay, Zacharias, last list of today. It's the damage one that sucks on them. Yeah, and it's also, didn't they used to get additional attacks for each Lightning Claw. So it used to be like if you had one Lightning Claw, you got one additional attack. If you had two, you got two, right? And I think they change that into just you get one additional attack, but you're twin linked. And there's a few weapons like that where the twin linked component is actually a bit garbage. We've been over it a few times by now, where it's like some weapons when they got changed to twin link, like assault cannons, like assault or the onslaught Gatling cannons on like the. I used to run the Ball Predator all the time. I used to love the Ball Predator. I used to get like 24 shots from that main cannon. Now it gets 12 with twin linked, and it just feels like that's like way worse for some reason. Whereas other weapons that have gone twin linked, it doesn't feel quite so bad. But for some weapons with twin linked, it feels really, really bad. Okay, so let's have a look at list number 6 for today. And like I said, if you were here at the start of the show, do you know what? I'd forgotten to ask you guys to like this stream. If you get 2 seconds, and you can hit the like button on the stream, it would be super appreciated. That didn't work. I was going to run my subscribe banner. I'm still having to set OBS up and stuff. Yeah, please, if you get 2 seconds, please like this stream today. And if you have a list that you want submitted on the next week's show, after this stream ends, put it in the comments, and I'll add you to next. It's just because I lost my hard drive last week, so all my notes and everything just went to shit. So they do get 2 extra attacks. Well, then I don't know, Pedro, because their numbers are garbage. They're actually complete garbage. Do regular Terminators get 3? And yeah, maybe. I don't know why their numbers are so garbage, but they are. They're absolutely garbage. Okay, so we've got Dante, the Judiciar with the Archangel Shard. I guess if you got a couple of points, you can spend it on the Archangel Shard. I don't really rate it either, because it's like anti-chaos 5 up or something. It's 25 points for Lance and anti-chaos 5 up. I really don't like it. I think it's way overcosted. 25 points. Let's see. And Lamartus. Okay, so you've got the 6 Blade Guard that will be attached to the Judiciar. You've got the 10 Death Company that will be attached to Lamartus. We're going well so far. We've got Infiltrator squads times 2. I'm not entirely sure I feel like you need 2 squads of Infiltrators. I was just running 1. I'm now running none. I've run 1 a couple of times in 10th edition, but really haven't run them that much. I guess it depends on how much Inceptors and crap are in your meta. If there's a lot, maybe you do need, but hey Ryan, thank you so much for subscribing. You've got a Redemptor Dreadnought, but you've got the Onslaught Cannon on this Redemptor Dreadnought and the Heavy Flamer. I feel like this is the wrong choice. I think you 100% want the Plasma on the Redemptor Dreadnought. You can put the Onslaught Cannon on the Heavy Flamer arm, but I don't think there's any reason to take the Heavy Onslaught Cannon over the Plasma. Do you know what? I'll bring it up just to tell you my thoughts about it. But the thing about it is the Redemptor has Blast on that Heavy Plasma Cannon. You're always going to shoot it overcharged. So statistically you can get like 4 shots before Blast. So the second you shoot like a, what would it be, like a 5-man model? Or 5-man unit, you're getting 1 extra attack from Blast. So statistically, against like a squad of Terminators, you're getting 5 shots. So potentially you could do 15 damage to a squad of Terminators with your overcharged -4, 3 damage plasma. Whereas with the Onslaught Cannon, the most you could potentially do is 12. But you're not going to do 12 with the Onslaught Cannon, are you? Because you're only going to hit 8 times. You're only going to wound on 3s. 6s are dev wounds. So out of your 8 things, you're going to get 1 or 2 dev wounds, and then they're going to have to take... So realistically, like, a heavy Onslaught Cannon is going to do, like, 2 or 3 wounds to a Terminator, including the dev wounds. Whereas, like, the Plasma Cannon could realistically kill 2 to 4 Terminators. So, if they save badly, you could kill 4 Terminators. Whereas if they save badly, you kill 1 Terminator. I think the Onslaught Cannon is a terrible weapon. I don't know. I'm so glad that I magnetized. Like, I just flat out would not run this. I think it's. Oh, you forgot to change the loadout. Good, because don't run this. It's terrible. You then have 10 Sangre Guard, and they will be attached to Dante. I kind of hate this, man. That is 470 points, and that squad has no survivability. 10 Infernal Pistols is nice. +1 to hit and +1 to charge from Dante is nice. +1 to the OC from the banner is nice. The 470 points is... They're ripping us off so bad with that Dante squad. I don't know why... I was going to say, don't take that to a tournament, man. It won't go well. Trust me. Like, it's like 100 points more expensive than Lamarta's in the 10 Death Company. It does less damage, and it survives probably like significant. I wonder if I have a video on how badly these guys survive at the moment. I don't know if I do, because I just think that there's... The Double Vindicator is good, the Calidus Assassin is good. Take those 470 points. You literally take, like, a Land Raider Redeemer for 260 and still have 210 points. If you took a Land Raider Redeemer for... So you drop Dante in the Sangre Guard, you put in a Land Raider Redeemer. Now you've got your Judiciar and the Blade Guard in centerboard. Drop this Archangel Shard off the Judiciar, because that's worthless as well. So 25 points. If you're 100% you need to take Dante, then take him with a 5-man Sangre Guard. But get yourself a Land Raider Redeemer so you can get your Blade Guard to the centerboard. Or a regular Land Raider would do it as well, mind you, because you only need 7 slots for the Blade Guard, right? There's far too many enemies that are just going to work, that are just going to remove Sangre Guard from the board. I just don't see how you play them, honestly. I've got 30 of them, man. They're all collecting dust in a shelf. Yeah, because if you took 480 plus the Arcane, you got 495 points. So you could literally take a Land Raider Redeemer, and then you've got 230 points on top of it. What other jump units do you have? I mean, like, 230 points gives you that gives you a 5-man jump Death Company with another chaplain. I think that's 210. So you could drop the 10 Sangre Guard and Dante, you could add a chaplain plus 5 Death Company and a Land Raider Redeemer. Like, that's just a million times better. I bet you if you math out, like, if you come up against another Space Marine player, how many Sangre Guard die to a Redeemer from Overwatch, right? Because a Redeemer from Overwatch averages, what, like 13 hits? And they're -2 auto wounds. So, like, a Redeemer's over... So, the Redeemer drives forward. If it can see your Sangre Guard, it's probably killing, like, a third of the squad. And then if you move the squad, he's probably killing another fourth of the squad. So you probably... If you ever get within 12 inches of the Redeemer, you probably just lose half the Sangre Guard. And there's other factions that are going to be even more problematic, right? If you come up against Death Guard, those Sangre Guard are going to die unbelievably fast. Toughness 3 they'll be in against Death Guard. Plague Marines will rip them apart. Every single bullet that the Death Guard have will rip them apart. I feel like I'm the bad guy to tell you this, but like, there's just not a good unit at the moment. Maybe if you could attach a Sangre Priest and give them a 5-up Feel No Pain, maybe they could have some play. But without that, because that's probably what they're missing. They're probably missing about a third of the survivability they need for the points they cost. So even if you attach the Sangre Priest, because he's like 90 odd points, you're probably still like borderline if they were even usable. Vanguard Vet's only other jump units at the moment would probably be a Rapid Increase because they're so fragile. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I would... Because the squad's 470, you could lose the whole squad. You could take 10 Vanguard Veterans with Storm Shields and Heirloom Weapons and a Land Raider Redeemer. I would take that every day of the week. I would not take Sangre Guard right now. I know somebody somewhere actually did okay with a 5-man squad at like a tournament, because someone in Discord was talking about it. But it's... You would have to play those guys like their armor's made of paper. You would have to be on point. I don't know how you play them at the points cost. They're 35 points a model when they die. It's insanity. You know, in 10th edition, you go back to 9th edition, when they went to 32 points per model, everybody dropped loads of them because they're like, oh my god, 32 points per model, that's so much to lose. And I feel like in 9th edition, they were so much more survivable because for the period that everyone was running them in 9th edition, they had Armour of Contempt built into their datasheet for free. So they were a 2-up save with Armour of Contempt all the time, and people were still not running them at 32 points per model. So, and close combat was a lot different back then. You could do a lot more janky stuff last edition that kept them alive, consolidate into cover, da-da-da-da-da. It's a tough time to be playing Sangre Guard, trust me. I wouldn't run them. I think if you run them to a GT, you'll have a bad time. I think if you try and run 5 of them to a GT, you might get lucky, but running 10 is mad. Apollo says Sangre Guard in 10th edition are horrible for the points cost, yeah. Bruce says they should be 300 points max. There's no... and also no priest is such a stupid decision. I even shared the poll I made, right? Because I made a poll on on like the BAC web, like I'm over here on the community tab. I made a poll to see what the community thought about Sangre Guard. It was like here, 850 votes. 84% of Blood Angels people think Sangre Guard are too expensive and they're not using them. I sent this to GW, like, because they posted about the balanced data slate maybe like a month ago now, or maybe not quite a month, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I posted a picture of this. I took a picture of this poll and posted it to the GW community team and said, I know we've had a new balanced data slate, but is anyone going to look at the points of Sangre Guard? Because like no one in Blood Angels is using them. This is like pretty damning, right? 84%. This means out of 840 votes, 848 times 0.84, 712 people out of 840 think they're kind of hot garbage. So I sent it to Games Workshop, but they're like, oh, if you have any problems, just email faq@gamesworkshop.com. I mean, I could email them, but I don't know. It seems like a wasted effort. They obviously have a plan for Sangre Guard, or they have a plan to make them not competitive. They know they're not competitive. They always talk in those MetaWatch articles about how many they got so much data. Well, let's have a look at the data and see how many Blood Angels players are actually running our flagship unit. I would guess if 84% of people are saying they're not running them, it's probably about 84% of people that are not playing them, right? Because most people aren't liars, I feel like. So yeah, Zach, please change that. Try again. Land Raider Redeemer and 10 Vanguard Veterans would be a better choice than 10 Sangre Guard and Dante. 100%. The Redeemer gets your Blade Guard into the middle of the board as well. Fighter CM is protesting T4 Marines. I think a lot of us are protesting T4 Marines. T4 Marines, I mean, I guess that's why some people are having luck with Terminators. I guess that's why some people like me have run a lot of Gravis, right? They're making them less competitive, so when the Codex comes out and they are tolerable, we are singing the praises and telling us that they're in the new model. There could be something to be said in that, Miguel, and that there's going to be a Blood Angels refresh. When the Blood Angels refresh comes, everyone under the sun is going to be running them, and Games Workshop are going to get hearing constantly, Sanguinary Guard too powerful, Sanguinary Guard are too powerful. So there could be a reason that they've just destroyed them right now. Fingers crossed, I guess, but it feels so bad to have 30 of them sitting in a drawer doing nothing. Alright, last question before I take off. Sonny says, what about the Claw Terminators led by our librarian? Have you considered using Red Rampage strat on them? Sustained plus lethal sounds juicy on paper. Do you know what? No one really runs the Space Marine librarian, which is funny because he does have that cool new model, but I honestly just haven't seen anyone run him. I must admit, I have the older Blood Angels Terminator librarian, and I just haven't run him this edition. I must admit that. The thing about sustained hits, though, right? If it's 30 attacks, statistically you're only getting 6 extra attacks. So I mean, it would help. Like, it'd be lying to say it wouldn't help, but does 6 extra attacks help enough? I think probably not is the answer, right? Like, I don't think... because, like, if Lightning Claw Terminator's got 1 more attack, I actually don't think they would even... I can't find the Librarian Terminator. Oh, here he is. I don't think that even giving... so he gets sustained hits 1. Assault Terminators. What are they even called? Terminator Assault Squad. Like, if Lightning Claw Terminator's got 1 more attack. Yeah, see, here's the Lightning Claw problem reminds me a lot of, like, the Death Company Chainsaw problem. And, alright, Lightning Claw's only 1 damage. So a Blade Guard already gets 5 attacks. Minus 2 damage. So a Blade Guard model is 30 points. Because you get 6 Blade Guard for 180. So it's like, what... The main difference between a Blade Guard and a Terminator is the Terminator is 1 more toughness and 1 more regular save. But the Blade Guard has that cool mechanic that gives him more damage or more survivability. He gets to choose, and he does double their damage. Yes, he isn't twin-linked. But it's just like, even if you fix that, even if you gave the Lightning Claw Terminators 1 more attack, which is realistically what you get from the Librarian's lethal hits, or sustained hits, sorry, I still don't think it changes enough, because 6 Blade Guards maximum damage would then be 60 damage for 180 points. Yeah, they're never going to do 60 damage for 180 points, but that is potentially what they could do. Whereas, like, these Terminators, even if they had 1 extra attack, could do 36 damage for 195 points. So you're paying 15 more points, your damage potential is about 60% of the Blade Guard, even if you added in sustained hits. And then you're paying more points for the Librarian character and stuff like that. So it's just too much, I think, Sonny. The Terminator Assault Squad is still using the old models, right? They haven't been updated to the Primaris sculpts, so probably they don't have really Primaris rules, I guess, even though they are technically Terminators and the remade Terminators are Terminators. Something needs to happen with Terminators. They're just... well, they don't really do any termination anymore, right? I guess. I'd say a lot of... The best thing you can probably put on your Terminators is Power Fists and Stormbolters. And the Assault Terminators, while they are the coolest looking models and the Blood Angels have the unique assault kit, they're just not in a great place at all whatsoever. So yeah, that is it for this week, guys. I'm going to be here on, let me see, because all my overlays have changed, so I think I can put on my end screen and you'll still see me. There we go. Okay, cool. So I can do that now, because I had to rebuild all my overlays, so I guess my ordering's a bit weird now. So you'll see me on Wednesday night. I'm playing my next game in the Tabletop Tactics Open League. So if you haven't joined the Tabletop Tactics Open League, think about doing that.
I have a book.
Stray Dog, thanks so much for subscribing. Sean, you're very welcome. Glad that I'm informative as ever. So I'm going to be here on Wednesday night. I'm going to have hopefully a decent tactics video this Friday. I'm going to go and try and fix the couple of drivers that were missing off my PC right now. So hope you enjoyed the show. Leave your list in the comments if you want to be on next week's show. And have a great weekend, guys. Thanks so much. Thanks to everybody. Leave a like as well before you go. And if not, I'll see you Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Sons of Sanguinius against Eldari. And I'm going for my 4th win in a row on the channel, so let's see if we can make it happen. Alright, have a good evening, guys. Peace. Good night.